Well, hi folks. It's Christmas time, and my son surprised me with this amazing Christmas present. I certainly didn't expect it. I wasn't looking for it, but I opened this, opened the wrapping paper, and here it is: a Stihl MS-162 chainsaw. This is, I think he said it's an 18 or 16-inch bar. Excuse me. So I thought I'd open it up. I've already opened it, of course, but I'll show you what comes with it, and we'll put it together and try it out, and you can get a chance to kind of do the unboxing kind of thing. So, but yeah, I'll never turn down a Stihl chainsaw. I mean, nobody should ever turn down a Stihl chainsaw. So I'm thankful to him for getting it for me. I'll add it to my arsenal here for firewood cutting and other tree removal, and we'll go from there. So let's start first here with, I will put this on a tripod when I go to put it together. It's well boxed. The company that he works for is an authorized Stihl dealer, so I'm sure he got an employee discount on it, but still, I'm not sure what it retails for. You can look that up. And typically, if you buy a Stihl like this, it doesn't come in the box. The dealer would assemble it, put gas and oil in, make sure it's working well before that they would give it to you to take home with you. But he said to the to the salesman, he said, that handles these, he said, look, I can't put a put together with fuel in chainsaw under my Christmas tree in the house. So can you just leave it in a box? My dad can figure out how to put it together. So that's why it came like this. Stihl is a unique company because you can only buy Stihl products from Stihl dealers. You can't get them through Amazon online. You can't go to a Home Depot or Lowe's and buy them. You have to go to a Stihl dealer, and that's a different business model, but it's worked for them. When you're number one, I guess you can do that. So just to give you an idea, if you're looking for a Stihl, you have to find a Stihl dealer that sells them. So at any rate, so in the box we have the main body of the saw, which you can see an MS-162. We have the bar chain, or excuse me, the bar, I'm sorry, the bar and the chain. And again, I think he said it was a 16-inch. Yes, a 16-inch. It's a smaller, lighter saw. It's not a heavy-duty one. A standard chain to go with it. It is a, let's see, a 61 PMM3. So you can see that in case you need to replace one. You don't have to use a Stihl chain. Of course, other brands would work, but since this is new, we'll go with it. Certainly. And then it comes with a shield to put over the bar and chain to protect you from getting hurt when you're carrying it around or when you're storing it. Keep the chain teeth from getting bumped. A heavy-duty manual, which I'll double check on because I want to make sure it's still a 50-to-1 ratio with the gas oil mixture like all the rest of my saws are. And of course you have to get the handy dandy automatic tool, or multi-tool I should say, universal tool. So this helps you to tighten the nuts to secure the chain. Two different sizes, of course, so you could use it for different saws. And then on the other end it is a screwdriver, slotted screwdriver. That's typically to tighten the chain tension, and also you can use it for any other purpose too, cleaning or what have you. So that came with it as well. So this was all in the box. What I'm going to do is I'm going to pull it all out, and you can watch me put it together, and we'll go from there. Okay, I realize I'm doing this on a low battery, and also I'm not behind the screen to see where I am. Yes, it is a 50-to-1 ratio. Okay, here is the saw head. Just a couple things to point out. This is the chain brake. It is there to protect you. If the saw kicks back, it instantly stops the chain from turning. It's not in operation now because I don't have the chain on. I'll show you that later. Also, this one only has one nut here to hold the housing on where you put the bar on. And this lower end saw, you can see the grip teeth here. They're plastic, they're not metal. I imagine I could probably upgrade that if I really wanted to, but I won't abuse that since it's going to be used for more lighter duty. On this side you can see fill the fill caps. They've gone back to this older style where you turn it and you have to put the screwdriver in rather than the flip cap ones that I've had in my other saws. This is for gas, this is for oil. It is 50-to-1, mix a 2-cycle oil with gas, and they are recommending you use at least 90 octane, which is above, obviously, just regular gas. Now, the gas stations around me have started to carry an ethanol-free 90 octane fuel that's designed for things like four-wheelers and ATVs, and also can be used for this kind of this kind of equipment. So I've tried to start to get some of that because I don't need the ethanol in here. That's damaging the carburetor. Plus it's also 90 octane, so that'll work. It's more expensive, but if I'm only buying a gallon at a time for the saw or the a string trimmer, it's not a big deal. So that's what I've tried to do, and that's the way they're going now with the saws. So we'll see what we can come up with as far as cost to operate, but shouldn't be too much more, and you have better quality that the saw is going to run better. So at any rate, first step, just want to make sure I know my battery's low. I want to make sure I'm still recording here. Yeah, I guess so. Okay. Sorry if this cuts out. I'm going to take my handy dandy tool. Oh, it's already loose. Loosen the nut. Take off the shield. And you can see here is the drive socket, the drive shaft where the back of the chain goes around, and that's what turns the chain. And then you have these two studs here where the bar goes onto to hold them in place, and then this little slide here can be adjusted with this screw here, and that's to tension up the chain, to tighten it up. The more you move in one direction or the other, the tighter the chain gets, and you want it good and snug. You don't want the chain to be loose. So here is the bar that came with this saw. It says Stihl Light. I don't know what that means. It's not as wide of a saw because it's not more of a commercial saw. It's more of a homeowner saw. And on here you can see they have stamped the specs so that you know what size chain, what size file to get to resharpen it, and any other information you would need. That's stamped in there so that in the future you can replace things without having to try to guess. The chain is a lighter duty chain than my bigger saws, but again, that's okay because I'm not going to cut heavy with it, and it's nice and sharp. It takes a while to get them untwisted. You got to make sure you got the teeth on the top all the way around, and then it untwists easily. And if you look here, I don't know how well you can see this on the camera, the back edge of the teeth are perpendicular to the chain, but the front edge are angled, and they're angled alternately, one side to the other as you go across it. Those are the front edges of the teeth. That's what grips the wood. So that has to be facing the front of the saw when you put the chain on. You don't want to put the chain on backwards, obviously. And the way basically I do this is I just drape it over the top. The bar has this slot in where the feet of the teeth fit into. It's not hard to do. This isn't too bad to do with my bare hands. If the teeth were bigger and sharper, I might have my gloves on to do it, but it's easier to do it this way. Just be careful, you're dealing with sharp teeth. And the bottom line is, as I read through that manual, 3/4 of the manual is all about safety, operational safety and stuff, and what to do and what not to do when you're using the chainsaw. So you want to make sure that you follow those guidelines because you don't want to get hurt. Okay, so I have slipped this, hope you can see this. I've slipped this over the socket there, the pulley there, and then there's a slot in the bar that this bolt goes over. There's only a half bolt here. Remember, there's only one instead of two like my bigger saws. And then this little stud that sticks up there where you adjust the chain tension by moving the bar up and back is in place. So, and it's flush against. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to tighten it up just a little bit before I try to put my cover back on so it doesn't wiggle and get out of position. I want to make sure I'm in the grooves properly there. Okay, that's not too bad. I'll finish my adjustment after it's on. Then I put my shield back on, just like that, keeping pressure on it so it doesn't pop off. And I want to take my nut and tighten that down. Now, I'm not going to completely tighten it. Just want to snug it up for now, because when it's completely tight, when it's completely tight, you can't adjust the chain tension. Not typically, and it's designed to be that way. So I have it on there. It's fairly good, and you can see. I'll show you my tension on my chain, the amount that I have on there. You can see it's fairly good. I may tighten it up just a little bit more, because again, I don't want wiggling when the saw is in operation. So I may turn it just a little bit more. You don't want it so tight that it damages the chain. And the good thing, and the other thing that you do have to do, especially since this is a new chain on a new bar, after you run it a little bit, you probably have to readjust it because it will stretch a little bit. So I will do that after I've run it a little bit. Okay, that's as tight as I want it for now. So now I will finish tightening this down. Easier way to do this is simply set it on the table like this and do it this way. And I want it good and snug because I don't want it to work loose while I'm running the chainsaw. Okay. And for now, I'll just put my guard on. And now it's time to fuel it up. Again, I don't know why they went back to this style of cap. I used to have that in my old Stihl, and after a while it became a real pain to get them on and off. I'd have to take my pump pliers to, as you can see, they're on a, hope you can see this, they are on a string so you don't lose your cap. And I have my fuel here. This isn't very old. You don't want old fuel in here. I usually give it a shake a little bit to make sure that the gas oil mixture is where it's supposed to be. What I typically do when I go to get gas is I'll put the oil in first, and then when I fill the gas can at the pump, the agitation of the gas going in should help to mix it up better than if I just dump the oil in after. Maybe that's not necessary, I don't know, but that's what I've always done. So we'll try this, fill this up. I will fill it because I'm sure there's plenty for me to have to cut. Okay, tank is about full. Fairly simple to do. Everything's plastic on these now. The old saws were all steel, and of course they were heavier. I think they did the plastic to make them lighter. And quite frankly, as I've gotten older, I don't need to be lugging a heavy saw around it if it's not necessary. Certainly the big commercial ones still have a lot of weight to them and a lot of metal in the steel in the casings and stuff, because they've got to endure a lot of heat and a lot of abuse. Where this is for a homeowner, this is basically something that somebody would sit on a shelf until he needed to trim the trees or a tree fell down or what have you. And I will use this for trimming work or just cutting up small trees. I won't use it for my big work, but it's still invaluable and it's a whole lot lighter to use. So now I've got my bar and chain oil. This just comes from Tractor Supply. You can get it anywhere. It's a heavier duty, thicker oil. It's not the 2-cycle oil. That's for the fuel mix. This is a bar and chain oil. I don't know what the viscosity is, but it's designed for this, to lubricate the chain as it's spinning so that it doesn't wear excessively and the cut stays better. So I'm just going to fill the reservoir here with oil. Okay, not a problem there either. And I should be ready to go. Let me make sure I'm still recording here, because again, I'm not looking at the back of the camera. Well, we're still going. I'm surprised. Okay, I thought maybe my battery would be dead. Now I've got to look at starting procedure with this one. It might be a little different than my other Stihls, but let me see where you'll be able to watch me if I go to start it. Let me turn the camera this way a little bit so that I can stand away a little bit from the bench when I go to start it. I'm not going to put my helmet and stuff on ear protection because I'm not going to keep running it. If I was going to work with it, I certainly would. This one, the way it looks like it's designed, it says stop and you push up on this lever, so I guess that's the off button. And I would guess that the way my other Stihls work is and you have to do this right-handed, of course. You squeeze the trigger and push your button down, and then it holds that down. It's like the choke. It says you may have to pull it as many as 10 times initially to get it to run, so we'll see how this works. I'm doing this the wrong way because I'm trying to show the camera. There we go. Okay, so that worked like a choke. Now I'll push it up one click. That should be the run position. Okay, and of course it should be governed properly that when you take your finger off the trigger, the chain stops. It shouldn't keep turning even slowly, or you've got to readjust your idle. So I will come back to you when I'm out by a tree, and we'll actually cut something down, something small, so you can see it in operation. All right, I'll come back to you. Okay, well, I said we'd try it out on some trees so you can see how it works. Now, after I ran it initially, the chain did loosen up a little bit, so I just snugged it up a little bit more. Don't want it to be too tight, I just want it to stay firm so you get maximum cut and maximum length out of life out of your chain. One pro tip, you see there's snow out here, never ever set a hot saw down on the snow, because the thermal shock could possibly crack the engine block. It's not so much a big deal even in the wintertime if the ground is dry, but with the snow, that's a chance you don't want to take. So again, always safety first. Half that manual is about safety, I understand that. Make small saw or not, always make sure you have a good solid grip on the saw so that you don't have to worry about kickback or swinging back. This chain is sharp enough. If it's sharp enough to cut through oak, it's sharp enough to take your leg right off. You know what I'm saying? So as long as you're always conscious of safety, you don't need to be afraid of it, but you can never be nonchalant about this kind of equipment because it could be dangerous. So what I'm going to do is just cut a couple of these little trees down, and you can see the ability that this saw has for cutting. This Stihl MS-162. Let's go to it. I have to get the focus. There's a lot of grape on this tree, I would never do that with a big tree. Okay, so that's my demonstration. Excellent cutting. Now I haven't tried to cut anything heavier or bigger with it. This cherry is green, so it does cut through easily. It's not like cutting dried oak. But plenty of power. Saw chain's wicked sharp, of course. And perfect for a small saw. If you need something, you have a little bit of property, you're a homeowner, you want to just have something to trim with, you just cut some firewood because you have the occasional fire that you burn, this may be all you need. Could be something to keep in the back of the pickup truck, so if you're out somewhere and there's a problem with tree damage over the road, you can at least clear it with this. It's not that big to carry around with you. So what I'm thinking is, initially, this is a wonderful saw and I'm going to love having it, so thank you again to my son for giving it to me for Christmas. So please like and subscribe. Thank you for supporting our channel. I'm thrilled about how we're doing, and we'll keep working together, living out in the country on a shoestring.